Alright, so this is the first video of the 12-month mentorship that I'm going to do. I truthfully believe that this is the right lesson to approach this mentorship with. I do not want you to skip over if you have acquired month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do not want you to skip over this lesson because this might be one of the most important when it comes to your foundation as a trader and also as a human being, because this is not only about trading, but this is the first lesson of the 2024 or 2025 rather 12-month mentorship, the 12-month StoianCapital mentorship. My name is Alin, and this is the smart money paradigm, logically internalizing the smart money perspective. These are some things I want you to know before you start. I want you to know that I am a continuously evolving trader and have not reached my peak yet. But I can talk about what I've done until now. So you're going to find out that I never talk about the things that I did not do. What I talk about is all of the things that I've did, how I overcame them, and I'm going to address myself to you and telling you what to do, or telling you what a trader should do, and then you take that into your trading. You test that out, and if it doesn't work or if it doesn't fit in right now, I promise that it will fit in the future, or you can just toss it out. I am never telling you when or if to trade live funds after this mentorship or inside of this mentorship. It is your choice and your choice only. The mentorship is structured for a whole 12-month period, but if you ever consider that you no longer need it, you can stop it. So if you are in month 4 and you have studied everything that you've needed to study, you can just DM me and we can just end the subscription and it will be over. But I guarantee that at the end of this mentorship, you will never need me or any other video on YouTube, because I've did this in the same way. So while you can absolutely just choose to not be in the mentorship anymore when you've got what you've wanted, which I advise you to do, I also tell you to just stay for the whole 12-month period. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, and this is just going to be an introduction, because these things that I'm about to talk about are more complex and I need more time to explain to you what they're about. But this is the first lesson, the paradigm shift. First, the paradigm shift. A codependent trading definition is, the definition is relying on someone else's opinion for your own perspective. So that is what a codependent trader is doing. A codependent trader, I'm not talking about you, I'm not talking about me. All of the things I'm going to talk about, again, are things that I've done for my own trading. This is nothing regurgitated. Everything that I'm talking about is something that I've did and it worked. And if it doesn't work for you, do not freak out. But a codependent trader is a trader that relies on somebody or someone else's opinion for their own perspective. Now we can already see how that is wrong. Because if I rely on somebody else, then that somebody else will just use me for the sake of what they want to do with me, right? So this is what a codependent trader is, and this is where most of you are in right now. And I was in this category. And the most important thing that you have to understand right now is that it does not feel like you're codependent. You cannot see it right now. That's the hardest thing to digest. And that was the hardest thing to digest for me until I've actually reflected upon why I do certain things. So you might even be right now a codependent trader. And this, of course, it is a codependent environment in which I teach you all of these concepts. But I want to teach you all of these concepts. I want you to take all of the concepts that I did not create the concepts, of course. ICT created the concepts, but I want you to take my perspective and update it towards your thinking, and then leading into an independent thinking. But I'm going to talk about that afterwards. I want you to understand that there's pros to this, to being a codependent trader. It feels easier. So you do not have to think. So this is the only pro that I really found. That it feels easier because you do not have to think for yourself. But the cons, or a con, because there are lots of them, but the core con is that you completely remove, or it completely removes, responsibility and accountability over your own trading. So you're not responsible. I mean, this is part of feeling easier, but this is also a con because you're not responsible or accountable over your own trading. So what do I mean by this? Well, let me just skip to a hypothetical scenario. So we've got a trader. Let's just name him Dan. Trader Dan posted a Telegram analysis stating that he wants to see the market go up for the Nasdaq this week. So Trader Dan sent his analysis with all of his signatures that he sees. Let me just think that he sees an inversion gap. And he wants to see the market close above said inversion gap on a weekly chart. And this is what he wants to see for the week. Now, I'm not even going to talk about the things that are written below this statement, but I want you to understand that you're seeing Trader Dan's perspective. Even if you do not take his, even if you are in the same direction with Trader Dan, then you're going to blame yourself for, oh, why did I not see this speed array and I saw this speed array? But I'm going to get to that after we read all of these things. You see said analysis before you do your own analysis. Your analysis before you even go to the chart becomes biased. So you did not do your analysis. But right now, when you go and do it, it is now biased. Oh, I saw Trader Dan wanting to go to the upside for this week instead of the Nasdaq. And even if you do not 1% think that, oh, I'm biased, you're still going to be biased. You're still going to have that in the back of your mind. Like, oh, he has to have a reason why he is long, right? So what you do is you analyze the chart, you identify correctly bearish indications for the next week, yet because Dan was more right than wrong, you decide to go with his analysis. And your analysis right now has been influenced by Dan's thinking. And I just changed the way in which I wrote hypothetical, but doesn't matter. Moving on, the week passes, the market successfully delivered towards the liquidity pool you identified below the marketplace, meaning that your own independent analysis would have been correct. Now I want you to pause and try to imagine this scenario because this has happened to you a lot of times. And then what do? What happened is Trader Dan was wrong and you've lost money, quote unquote, because of his analysis. So again, let's just recap. You saw Trader Dan wanted to go to the upside for the week. Trader Dan has his inversion gap signature, which he wants to see for the week. And then you firstly blame yourself that you did not see that. And how can you not see it? And all of this talking, which leads to a negative mindset, but I'm going to leave that to the side right now. And you've had your bearish analysis. Now, the week has completely closed, and that bearish analysis that you've did was completely correct. And Trader Dan was wrong. What you're going to do right now is you're going to blame Trader Dan for your loss. But the reality is this. And again, hypothetical changed. Is it really Trader Dan's fault? Let's just think about it. Let's understand. You chose, firstly, even if you're not aware of it, you did it. You chose to join his Telegram channel. You chose to have your own notifications on. Then you chose to read his analysis prior to yours. What happened here? Then you chose to be influenced by it and ignore your own analysis. And I'm going to ask you right now, whose fault is it then? And this might sound like, oh yeah, I already know this. Exactly, that's the point. You already know what you have to do. You already know. Why don't you do it? Let me tell you why don't you do it right now, and this is not in the slides. The reason why you do not do what you know that you have to do is mainly because of codependent thinking, not independent thinking. Because this is the thinking process that you have right now. So you have an idea. You already know what you have to do. But then you go on and consult with somebody else on social media on that idea that you have. Instead of asking social media, why don't you sit down and genuinely analyze that idea that you have? This is the reason why you do not see this statement that I've did right here. Or you know that you have to do it, but you don't. Because you consult with social media, and social media is strictly designed for you to not be the best version of yourself. It is designed for you to be a machine that just consumes and consumes and consumes and attaches to somebody. And this might even be applicable to me, like you are attached to me. But after this mentorship, I have promised you to be independent, meaning that I do not even need your own money after the mentorship. I want you to, the biggest thing that you can do with my mentorship is to genuinely not look at any of my social media, not look at nothing I post, nothing. I want you to be so focused on your trading process that you do not even need to open up any social media account anymore. And I just want you to roll into your bank account instead. So, coming back to Trader Dan and you, it was, of course, your fault. And even if it wasn't, think about this. Understanding that your current situation is because of something you did allows you to understand where and when you went wrong and to fix it, not doing it in the future. Blaming Trader Dan does nothing but give him power over your own circumstance. So if you understand that, okay, this might have not even been my fault. If we're going to look at the situation from an outside perspective, right? You see yourself and the situation from the outside. It might not even be your fault overall. But if you claim that fault, then what is going to happen is you're going to understand where you went wrong, and you cannot take that back. I don't want you to be, and I'm going to give you a gem that I found. And I did not found this. I did not think about this. Again, it was a quote that I've heard from Alex Hormozy, if I'm not mistaken, which said that depression is just a state of looking back, and I do not remember the whole definition, but overwhelm is something from the future, depression is something from the back. I do not want you to look at these things that say, oh, why did I not do them? Because, I mean, with a blaming perspective. Because what this does is it ties you up to the past. I want you to look at all of these things that happen. I want you to understand that you cannot change anything from the past nor the future. You can only change the current. And if you're going to look back at everything that you've did and analyze and get the lesson, this lesson is made for you to not make the same mistake in the future. Not for you to go back and say, oh, I wish I didn't. Wishing does nothing for your life. Nothing. Wishing does not exist. You either do or not. That's just wasted time. That's truly wasted time. But you're going to get better at this. And this is where the paradigm shift occurs. And this is where the paradigm shift occurred for me. And this is the most important lesson that you have to understand. Because the way you see life and the way you see everything is the way you do everything. And if you're codependent and you just take what everybody says on social media, which I've understood that most people on social media just regurgitate anything without any results, without doing the actual things that they talk about. Like all of these posts on X, let's just say, for instance, how to be a better trader. Yet they never show any degree of consistency. Like you're basing your life upon their opinion, and they do not even have a clue of what they're talking about. Like, just think about this. The independent thinking trader. And again, this is just an introduction. The independent thinking trader is fully accountable and responsible over his own actions. And here we're going to discuss about reactivity or versus proactivity. So I'm just going to give you a brief introduction, and we're going to go into the examples after we start this mentorship. But the independent thinking trader, again, is fully accountable and responsible for his own actions, and he does everything from a proactive oriented trading, or not trading, but perspective. A process oriented thinking, which is what POT stands for, is instead of being in a moment, like let's just imagine a moment. If you are going to be reactive, then you did not plan out what you're going to do inside of that moment. You are just reacting emotionally, which always leads to failure, because emotions are the downside. I mean, I'm not blaming, I'm not going on a crusade against emotions, right? They're human, we're human. And they're going to help you in the future when you're going to analyze how you feel inside of a chart, but not right now. But what happens is something happens, then you react emotionally, then you want to take that back, and then it is just a vicious cycle of reactivity. Whereas if you are a proactive person, if you are process-oriented thinking, if you have that process-oriented thinking, then what you will do is you will go out and plan. You will plan out all of the things that you're going to do. Then you're just going to do them regardless of how you feel or regardless of what happens. And you're going to have rules. If, for instance, for the market, if I want to see the market go to the upside, then I want to see the market close above an inversion gap. However, if the market reaches below the constant encroachment of the tail and the market closes below it on a 4-hour chart, then I completely dismiss my bullish analysis and I state that I'm wrong and I'm staying in the sidelines. That is the first part of the process-oriented thinking. The second part of the process-oriented thinking is you actually doing it. And then the last thing is you're reflecting upon it, but I'm going to talk about that in the qualitative work segment. The second thing that I want you to understand that an independent thinking trader has is that he has a long-term thinking, treating trading like a business. So you have your trading and you're going to set up, for instance, an amount of minutes in which you just focus on trading. When you're going to look at your trades, you have a time period in which you set to just look at your trades and analyze the outcome, analyze how you felt during the trade and how you felt afterwards, but you're going to fully focus 100% and fully out focus or relax. You cannot do them both in the same time. If it's work, then it's work. If it's relaxing, then it's relaxing. And you're going to see how they complement each other. Because if you 100% relax, then you're going to 100% work. You're going to have the full capacity. And most people think that is just work. I fully focus on relaxing in the most way, in the best way when I have to do it. Because it just gives me full power when I work. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is qualitative work, which is higher or is better than quantity. And I want you to understand that what feels slow in the micro is actually fast in the macro. And what feels fast in the micro is actually very slow in the macro. Micro meaning that what feels very slow today, and for instance, you just looked at the chart and you just recognized a fair value gap or an inversion gap for the first time, and you just saw the market closing above it and using it as a means of support. And you congratulate yourself for that. I want you to understand that what feels slow today, compounded, because this is the power that we have. This is how we use time in our advantage. What feels slow today is what will bring you the results tomorrow or in 3 months. Not tomorrow as a sense of tomorrow literally, but tomorrow in the future. And what you have to do is you just have to do the work for a long time period. And I want you to focus on quality, because most people, because they're very emotional, because they want the results right now, they get into this state of thinking that more is going to be better. More every day, do more, work more. When in reality, you just have to do it better. You just have to do it more qualitative. Which I want you to understand that going slow and analyzing the chart and getting every singular detail from it is far better. Like, for instance, let me just give you an example. Having 30 minutes of looking at the 1 minute chart and identifying every singular signature is way better than 90 minutes of just being distracted and not solely focused on one thing. It is just way better, even if it's 30 versus 90. 90 is more, right? But 30 minutes of fully focused attention is way better than 90 minutes of diluted attention. And I want you to understand the study, work, and reflection paradigm that I have created. I mean, it's logical, right? But this is the thing. When you work and you trade, let's just say, real money, you cannot just add things to your trading that you've just recently studied. Like, for instance, I've just recently studied the 3-month accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I cannot use it in my own analysis right now because I do not fully understand it. And I do not understand how to use it. So that study time period means that you're going to go in and study the things that you cannot currently apply to your work, to your models. The work time period stands for the things that you already know and you're just doing your normal business. Like, you already have your model. You already have, oh, I'm going to do this. This is my analysis. This is what I'm going to do. And you just do it. You just do it without thinking about any judgment. Like, oh, why do I feel like this? No, you just do the work. You say, for instance, that, oh, I mean, of course, you are looking at the chart. You're going to state how you feel. You're going to take screenshots. You're going to journal that. But I'm going to get to that after we go deeper into this qualitative work. But you're going to just apply the things that you know. And then the end result that is going to happen is going to be judged by a reflection state. You're not going to judge yourself, or you're not going to reflect upon yourself when you work. Because when you work, you just work. You just apply. When you study, you just study. And you're going to you try to understand more. And then when you reflect, you're looking at the results. You're looking at how you applied everything that you know. Was it fully focused? Was it, I don't know. Did it go good? What does it mean to go good? I mean, what does it mean for you to do something good? Because I can have a negative result. I can have a trading loss, but I'm happy and I'm glad that I took my model, because I would have an adversity that is very studied, which clearly states that I do not take my model when I see it. So I can take my model, I can take a loss, and I can be glad that I've taken my model when I saw it, and I'm going to analyze why it was wrong. But I cannot do this when I just apply all of these things. I have to fully trust the things that I know. And the only way in which I can fully trust the things that I know and I can apply them is for me to be fully focused on my study as well, and to be fully focused on my reflection period as well, and also on the work. They all have to work together. If one of these things is wrong, then all of them are going to be wrong. I want you to understand that an independent thinking trader never cares about anyone else's opinion on social media or outside of social media. No independent thinking trader, like, they do not care. They're not rude about it. Like, if somebody asks them something, or if somebody tries to give them advice, they are not rude about it. But they can listen to somebody else's opinion and not be shaken by it. And mostly on social media, when you see all of these people just marketing, I want you to understand that they don't, I mean, from my own perspective and from my own current position, and this might change in the future, I believe, by my own experience, that nobody can fully do marketing campaigns and business and all that stuff and also trade with such degrees of precision. And I truthfully believe that there is solely focusing on business or solely focusing on trading, because you cannot do them both in the same time, because it involves a lot of focus, and you're just going to lose on one side, and you have diluted attention overall on a macro time period. And the last thing is that, again, what I've said is that he's solely focused on trading and treats adversity as a stepping stone. So losses or losses are an opportunity for you to rationally analyze everything and to learn, which is back to point one, which is to be accountable. So right now, I want to give you a small and brief introduction to the smart money paradigm and how we see the market as a smart money trader. What I want you to understand is that we capitalize as smart money, and this is how I internalize it. The smart money is based on the capitalization on the retail minded traders, where retail equals reactive traders who trade patterns for pattern's sake. So when they see a bull flag, what they're going to do is they're not going to judge rationally why this should work. Why does the market want to go to the upside? Instead, when they just take a long, they put their stop loss where the books said that they have to have a stop loss without any logic behind it, and they're just going to be reactive. Oh, what if the market goes up right now? What if the market goes down right now and takes my stop? Well, I would think the same thing if I would not have any logic behind why I trade. I would think the absolute same thing. Where smart money accumulates positions, retail losses, and loses. Where smart money exits positions, retail loses. So where we accumulate, if we're using the smart money logic, if we're copying what smart money does, where they exit or where they accumulate positions, that's where we also accumulate positions. And there has to be somebody else on the other side that loses for us to take their position and accumulate it, for us to be in a position. So we have to be opposites. We have to do the exact opposite to what a retail trader does. And where we exit our position, that's where again retail loses. And smart money operates, or smart money traders operate within rules and logic that are specifically built to cannibalize retail traders. So this is how we see the market. We see it in the opposite way. We are not waiting for a bull flag to send price to the upside. If it aligns with the market, then of course. If it aligns with the narrative that we have as smart money, then the bull flag will actually work. But what will happen is we have to wait firstly for that pairing, for that accumulation of positions to happen. And we want to see the market go below a means of sell stops, or where the smart money would have, not the smart money, but the retail money would have their stop losses. We have to wait for that, and then we enter a position. And this is how it will look like for you. What you're looking at right here is a 1-minute chart of the NASDAQ. And this is the 10th of April 2024 NASDAQ short. So this is how you are going to look at a chart. We have smart money cannibalizing the AM session buy side traders who bought on a breakout. So all these people see this, and then they're going to buy here on a breakout, having the stop losses somewhere inside of this area. Market goes up, and then we at smart money, this is where we anticipate the market to just fall down, and this is where our positions are. What I did here is I saw the market closing below this inversion gap, and I've used it as a means of resistance. Not the original resistance, but this signature within my already pre-anticipated direction to the downside, and my narrative of the fact that these people, these retail traders, are going to be cannibalized. I already anticipated this within my logic, that all of these traders are going to get cannibalized. And I shorted it here, and I wanted to go where? I wanted to see the market go below these lows, because smart money cannibalized on their excitement to get in at a specific time of day. So they wanted to get in here at a specific time of day, which is a 10:50 to 11 cent macro, which you're going to learn about in the mentorship. And smart money exited where existing sell stops were. Retail saw them as support, which is again right here. So at a very specific time period, I anticipate the market to take out these positions, which are retail traders that either go long on a breakout or see these relative equal highs as a means of resistance. So they're going to short them. I want them to be taken out. I want their position to be accumulated right here by me. And then what is going to happen is I'm going to exit at where they think that the market is going to go down and then up again for their level of support. So these are where the stop losses are. And again, these are where the stop losses are. I accumulate positions here, and then I distribute, or I exit right here. And this is seen integrally. This trade was taken with me explaining every singular 1-minute candlestick on YouTube. If you go out and see the 10th of April trade that I've did, you can literally go on right now and see exactly this explained fully one-on-one by me. And I want you to understand what will happen in the next time period. For the next period of time, what I want you to do is I want you to fully lock in on trading. No social media and no distractions. And what I mean by this is I want you to set a time in which you're going to study for this amount of minutes, fully focused, no social media, no distractions. The only thing that I'm going to think about is trading. I want you to fully begin, a self-knowledge journey where you get to know yourself. And I want you to prepare note-taking instruments and a journal to do said thing. So you're going to do this, you're going to analyze yourself, and you're going to do this in a journal. And I want you to have the right expectations. This is not something that is going to be easy. And I do not understand why most people think, and I've did this too because I was influenced again by somebody else, and I've joined this industry because of some friend. So this is codependency, and I've taken his beliefs about this, which I believe that it is going to be easy. I do not know why I believe that this is going to be easy, but I want you to have the right expectations that this is going to be hard, this is going to be boring, yet it will pay off for the rest of your life. And I want you to be patient while you work your absolute hardest, which means that you do not want to see immediate results. Nothing should be immediate. You have to be fully patient. You have to just do your work every singular day, exactly like I've told you. Focus on being slow on the micro, on the qualitative work, and then you're going to see that 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months from now, you are going to be able to do this independently because you just fully lock in, and fully locked in attention and energy is going to be paid off way faster than you believe. And this was the presentation. This was the first. Skip back. This was the first video. I hope you've taken something from it, and I'll see you in the next one.